Welcome to the Always Bayern Chelsea program, everybody. You just have me here today. It's Danny, giving you a breakdown of the relentless, merciless takedown from Bayern Munich over Dinamo Zagreb, the Croatian side, in the very first matchup of the new Champions League season, 2024-2025, with the brand new format. I'm recording this after the match here on Tuesday, September 17th. I'll likely post this either tomorrow, Wednesday the 18th, or Thursday the 19th. And I'm going to be giving you my thoughts, as the match is still pretty fresh in my head, my reaction, as well as just a breakdown of the match overall. So let's jump right in, because this match was exciting. It was wild. It was one of the crazier matches I've ever watched. And it ended up with Bayern winning 9-2. 9 goals is the most goals ever in a Champions League match. So it was really a historic night for Bayern Munich for many reasons. Harry Kane had 4 goals. I guess that's where I'll start. That was truly something incredible. He overtook Wayne Rooney for the most goals in the Champions League by an Englishman. So congrats to Harry, but let's just jump right in and kind of go through the match, because there's so much that happened, and it's really, I don't even know where to start. So first of all, I guess let's take a look at Bayern's lineup, the one that they started with, and just right off the rip, it was very fluid. So I'm going to give you how they were technically lined up, but know that a lot of players were kind of interchanging with one another and occupying different spaces, doing different roles and kind of flip-flopping roles. So it was technically Bayern's normal 4-2-3-1, but I don't know if you can even really say it operated like that. To start with, in between the sticks, we have Manuel Neuer, and we'll get to that because he actually didn't end the game in between the sticks. I think he's going to be okay. I think he was just taken out as a precaution, but still, it's worth mentioning. And then at left back, there was Alphonso Davies. At left center back, Min-Jae Kim. At right center back, Dayot Upamecano. And at right back, Raphael Guerreiro, which, if you know Raphael Guerreiro at all, or if you've, I guess, listened to this show, because I've talked about it a bit before, this guy can play almost any position on the pitch. And you've seen him at left back. You've seen him on the left side of the midfield. Tuchel used him as a left winger before, and now he's at right back. So he's really one of the greater utility players around, in my opinion. But anyways, onto the midfield, you had Alexander Pavlovic and Joshua Kimmich, who occupied that space. And then the attackers, you had the left wing filled by Serge Gnabry, Jamal Musiala at the 10, Michael Olise at the right wing, and Harry Kane up top as Bayern's striker. Now, as the match started off, Bayern dominated from the get-go. There were actually 2 goals that Bayern scored, one from Musiala and one from Gnabry, that were both ruled off maybe around the 15th and 25th minute, I guess. I don't remember exactly, but that's what I would guess. And up to that point, Bayern were completely dominating possession and ripping off shots, so they looked good. But anyways, as Gnabry's goal was ruled offside, they actually reviewed a play that happened a little bit before that, where Pavlovic got taken down in the box and a penalty was awarded, and Harry Kane stepped up and drilled it, just like he always does. Calm as you like. Harry Kane, really the man. I would shoot a penalty to save my life, I guess. If it came down to that, I think I'd pick him. So Kane drills the penalty, and that was in the 19th minute, if I'm not mistaken. Bayern is up 1-0, and then shortly after that, the 34th minute, my favorite goal of the match happened. Raphael Guerreiro scored just an incredible goal, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, he was left back. What was he doing up there near the box, shooting and scoring goals? That's kind of what I mean when I say that this formation was so fluid, where players were kind of anywhere and switching roles and things like that. But anyways, we had a nice pass from Serge Gnabry, crossed into the middle. Jamal Musiala took it off of his chest with the first touch and somehow redirected the ball right to Guerreiro, who was back near the outside of the box, and Guerreiro just drilled it into the top of the net. It was such a sharp shot, and that was my favorite goal of the match. In the 38th minute, you have Michael Olise, the Frenchman, in his very first ever Champions League appearance, nail a goal, assisted by Joshua Kimmich, who was looking great at that point as well, getting involved with the attack, tracking back on defense and marking players when he had to. But that's how things looked going into halftime. And to be honest, I think Bayern looked like the best team in the world going into halftime there. They were up 3-0. There were 2 disallowed goals, and they just were in complete control of the match. Possession-wise, they ripped a lot of shots off, as I mentioned. Dinamo Zagreb's goalie actually had a good amount of saves. He had 10 saves on the day, which is kind of crazy to think about when they scored 9 goals as well. So that's how Bayern looked in the first half. Their attack was completely relentless. Waves and waves of attack that, Dinamo would catch their breath maybe and get the ball back for a minute, if that, sometimes just a few seconds, and then all of a sudden Bayern would be there attacking again. And Dinamo actually lined up with 5 men in the back line, which I thought was kind of crazy that Bayern was still able to just break that and shoot so much and score so much and just have this, like I said, just merciless attack. So Kompany's structure was set up pretty much perfectly to counter that, and it really worked out well. Now, rewind a little bit in the first half. Neuer, like he is known to do and has been doing even more so under Kompany, was playing so far up the pitch, really near the center line, jumped up for a ball and got totally knocked around, like almost landed on his head, but kind of like landed on his back, maybe his shoulders a little bit, and stayed down for a little bit, didn't really look too hurt, continued to play, but the actual play itself looked really bad. Neuer seemed to shake it off just fine, if that makes any sense. But anyways, the second half starts, and Sven Ulrich is in the goal, and Neuer is on the bench. It's said that was just a precaution. Bayern was dominating at that point. I get it. I hope that Neuer isn't hurt because Bayern really needs him, and it showed as minutes into the second half. Dinamo Zagreb scored 2 goals. Their first goal came in the 48th minute, and their second goal came 2 minutes later in the 50th minute. And I wouldn't put all the blame on Sven for those. I think he should have saved the second one. But overall, there was just so much space in Bayern's defense. And it's a little bit tricky to explain, but what Neuer does as goalie is so important for the team. Obviously, he makes the saves. Obviously, he plays high up in the pitch and starts attacks himself all the way from the keeper position. But what's even more is the way he communicates with the back line. Really, all the communication, at least between the center backs, goes through him. And without that there, it really shows. Bayern kind of just got caught lacking after half there. And it was nerve-wracking for a little bit. It was a little bit of a kind of a heart attack moment when the second half started, and it was 3-2 right away. You thought, is Bayern going to collapse? That's something that we've seen before last year under Thomas Tuchel. That team might have collapsed a little bit. But yeah, all of a sudden, Bayern flipped the switch, and they showed extremely strong character and mentality and totally changed things around after that. Weren't rattled by these quick goals from Zagreb. And in the 58th minute, Harry Kane scored his second goal of the match off of a deflection from a shot that I believe Kimmich took. And this was a great goal for Kane as well. And then a minute later, Kane scores again in the 59th minute. That one is ruled offside, though, however, and that would make Bayern's third goal that was ruled offside, which is crazy to think about because at that point they already had 4 goals. That would have been 5. But Bayern didn't have to wait too much longer to score again, because in the 61st minute, Michael Olise scored his second goal of the match. So Michael Olise's first Champions League match, he has a brace, which is truly special. I'm really looking forward to him this season, and now that he has arrived, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, and hopefully he is able to take this match and just use it as a springboard and leap off into the world and continue to score goals and provide assists. Speaking of assists, Musiala got that one. So then the next thing that we see there in the 67th minute, as Bayern's up 5-2, I believe at this point, there were a lot of changes that happened. Thomas Muller came in for Jamal Musiala, Eric Dyer came in for Kimmich, and Leroy Sane came in for Michael Olise. Great to see Leroy Sane back from injury. This was his first match this season for Bayern Munich. I'm very excited to see what he can do under Vincent Kompany. I think that he'll add even more depth to that just lethal attack that Bayern has showed so far. And then after that, we have a series of pens from Harry Kane. Drills the pen in the 73rd minute, drills the pen in the 78th minute. And at this point, Kane has 4 goals, which is just monumental. It blows your mind to think about 4 goals in a Champions League game. It's truly, truly special, and we need to all take a breath and think about what we're witnessing and just soak it in, because there aren't players like Harry Kane that come around every day. He's truly a generational talent, and it's just a joy to be able to watch him play. Anyways, fast forward to the 80th minute, Leon Goretzka comes on for Raphael Guerreiro. I'm glad Goretzka got some minutes in this match. I enjoy seeing him play, and contrary to what the bosses of the club think, I think there's still a role for Goretzka on this team. Maybe not so much in the midfield, as we've seen Pavlovic, Polina, and Kimmich play pretty dynamite all season, I think. But I think there's roles for Goretzka on this team. Our defense looks a little thin, and I could see him being not a traditional right or left back or center back, but I could see him playing one of those roles and really contributing to this attack as well. On to the 85th minute, Leroy Sane scores with an assist from Thomas Muller. Really, who else? Muller comes on, instantly provides an impact, as we've seen this entire season so far, with a nice assist, and that was a great goal from Sane too. Just slotted it into I believe it was the bottom left corner of the goal where the keeper couldn't reach it, and it was really just a completely clinical finish from Sane. So again, I'm excited to see what he can do under Kompany and this incredible attack. And finally, in what I want to say was the 92nd minute, sometime during stoppage time, Leon Goretzka scores a goal, which again, shout out to Goretzka. Joshua Kimmich assisted that one too. So I really am at a loss for adjectives to describe how impactful and how powerful this game was for Bayern Munich. Outside of that momentary lapse in the start of the second half, which could be worrying, sure, just because of the space that Bayern was allowing there in the defense, and maybe a stronger opponent could have capitalized off that more, because I should mention there was a third shot that Sven had a nice save on after Zagreb had scored those first 2 goals, and it could have been 3 real quick. So a little bit of worry there with the defense, but it's still early in the season, and I hope that things can kind of shore up there, because if they do, Bayern looks like one of the top teams in the world, just a deadly, deadly team, and an attack that honestly could be unstoppable for anybody in the world. So I'm excited to see what happens as the Champions League goes on. That was a great first match. There's going to be some more tests for Bayern coming up here, but if they can just pound the relentlessness of that attack, as I keep trying to stress, it's gonna be a good season, and we're going to see a lot of goals. So one other thing that I wanted to mention here is I think that Thomas Tuchel and the board at Bayern Munich last year were wrong about this team. I said this during the offseason, and I still stand by it. Sure, there were some positions that maybe needed to be refreshed a little bit. I think Michael Olise was a necessary and great signing. I think João Palhinha was a necessary and great signing. But Bayern Munich has the talent and has the players to compete with anybody in the world. The problem last year was the system that they were playing under. Tuchel's more passive, kind of shell of a system doesn't work for a team like this with this amount of talent on the attacking end, and Kompany's really putting that to use. And sure, maybe we'll see what happens when Bayern plays Leverkusen or plays Villa in the Champions League coming up here, or even Barcelona in about a month. But anyways, right now things are working and things are clicking, and this is something for Bayern to build off of. So I'm going to now go through my awards for this match, my match awards, and it's very tough, honestly, because so many players on Bayern Munich just looked dynamite. But man of the match, it's Harry Kane, of course. 4 goals, a historic performance from Kane. My runner-up is Michael Olise, who scored the brace in his first Champions League appearance. I'm just excited for him. I'm really excited for how he fits into this attack, and like I said, I hope he really gets going now. My underrated fireball of the match was Jamal Musiala. He provided 2 assists, honestly could have got a goal if it wasn't disallowed, could have maybe had more assists. He was all over the place, creating and providing for this attack. Just a joy to watch. My defender of the match was Raphael Guerreiro. Again, his goal was my favorite goal of the match, and that was actually my moment of the match, was Guerreiro's goal, because when that happened, the 2-0 kind of padding, you could see Bayern just light up and open up after that goal, outside of the fact that it was such a great goal and such a great cross from Gnabry, chest pass to Guerreiro, and then shot from Guerreiro. It was all great. And like I said, I think things really ramped up after that goal. Not to mention, Guerreiro did great just as a defender and as someone who moved up and down the pitch and inverted and switched roles with people. He had a lot of ground to cover and a lot of things to do, and he did a great job all match. And outside of that, I'm going to give a couple special shout-outs because Joshua Kimmich honestly could have been considered man of the match. He had 2 assists, I believe, and just played so well in the midfield as someone contributing to the attack and also tracking back and defending. And honestly, same with Serge Gnabry. He was all over the pitch as well. He really did his job to a T, and Serge should have had a goal or an assist or both, honestly, if you look at the disallowed goals and just how well he was playing. So, yeah. There's really nobody on Bayern who I would say did not do well. Honestly, even all of the subs I thought did well too. So, yeah, let's just look forward to this season. Let's buckle in. Let's hope everybody stays healthy. Let's hope Neuer's healthy. Let's hope our injured guys become healthy again because, man, this is going to be a fun season. I'm excited. And if Jim has anything to add, I'm not sure, but I'll try to get an audio recording from him and throw it in right here.
I have 2 words for you to describe the Bayern Munich match against Dinamo Zagreb. Utter domination. I mean, are you serious? Putting up 9 goals in a Champions League performance? 9 goals? That sounds fake to me. Did that really happen? I know I didn't watch the entire match, but 9 goals in the Champions League? I know Dinamo Zagreb ain't all that it's cracked up to be, but they still made the Champions League. We're talking about the Champions League. Not the Bundesliga 2, not the DFB Pokal playing against some scrub team. We talking Champions League, European football. Are you serious, Bayern Munich? Vincent Kompany, Harry Kane doing his thing, even though he's scoring a lot of pens. But still, 9 goals for Bayern Munich today? Man, I tell you what, this team is exciting. They have what it takes, I think, to make it far in this European competition. And I cannot wait to see how they follow it up in their next match. Werder better watch out because Bayern Munich are special. Some are saying it's the Gnome. Some are saying it's Vincent Kompany. All I know is 9 goals is crazy. Mia san Mia.
That's going to wrap up my match review, match reaction here. And, check us out on all the podcasting apps, Spotify and Apple. Check us out on YouTube, too, because we do make YouTube shorts, quick reactions to matches, and post some videos up there. So that's Always Bayern Chelsea. Jim's been running the TikTok page, too, and he's doing a good job of that. So check us out there as well. Once again, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it all. So tune in over the weekend. You can check us out on Twitter as well. We're posting about the matches in real time. Bayern has a match against Werder Bremen this weekend in the Bundesliga, and Chelsea has a match against West Ham in the Premier League. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for listening. Mia san Mia.